Have you ever wondered if your wife's criticisms of you are actually reflections of her own issues? We're about to offer some clarity. In this video, we'll be exploring how projection works and the signs that it's happening in your marriage. Get ready for an eye-opening journey into the psychology of narcissistic relationships. 1. The critique reversal. Ever noticed how her criticism of your wardrobe strangely echoes her own fashion faux pas? It's the critique reversal. She's deflecting her insecurities like a seasoned soccer player who blocks a goal. You're suddenly the one who's out of style, when just last week she was fretting over her fashion choices. She's battling her own chaos, and instead of tackling it, she finds it easier to transfer the frustration onto you. It's like she's standing in front of a mirror, but you're the one reflecting. So remember, when she nitpicks your attire, it's not about your clothes, it's a smokescreen for her self-doubt. Address the issue not with confrontation, but with understanding that this is less about your shortcomings and more about her internal conflict. Standing firm in this knowledge helps prevent the erosion of your self-perception. 2. Undermining achievements. This is a subtler form of projection, where she diminishes your successes, hinting that perhaps they're no big deal. When you land a promotion, instead of joy, there's a hint of, it must be nice to have such an easy job. Here, her insecurity about her accomplishments takes over, so she downplays your achievements. This tactic is less about undercutting your success, and more about concealing her envy or dissatisfaction with her own progress. It's a coping mechanism, deflecting attention from her insecurities by belittling your triumphs. When you recognise this pattern, take a step back and see it for what it is, a reflection of her struggles, not a true assessment of your worth. Applaud your achievements and understand that her inability to celebrate with you is a chapter in her own story, not a footnote in yours. 3. Jealous jabs. When the green-eyed monster rears its head, the jealous jabs begin. Have you noticed how she needles you over your interactions with friends, colleagues, and even random acquaintances? Insinuating an intimacy that isn't there? It's a classic case of projection. Your perceived jealousy is merely a shadow of her insecurities. It's a convoluted dance where she taps into your reactions to her accusations, seeking assurance while sowing seeds of doubt. Don't get entangled in this dance of deception. Acknowledge the jab for what it is, a reflection of her own insecurities. 4. Affection deflection. Does she claim you're not affectionate enough, or that your love is conditional, when you feel you're giving your all? This deflection is a projection of her inability to give and receive affection freely. It's a safeguarding mechanism, a way to pin her emotional unavailability on you, so she doesn't have to confront the deeper issues within. It's an emotional sleight of hand that leaves you questioning your capacity for love. But don't be fooled. The issue at hand is not your lack of affection, but rather her struggle with vulnerability and connection. The next time this comes into play, remember that it's a mirror she holds up to hide her reflection, not yours. Stand firm in your emotional truth and don't internalize this misplaced deflection. 5. Blame boomerang. Ever been in the direct line of a blame boomerang? Here's how it goes. You're minding your own business, then bam! Your narcissistic wife messes up, and with a twist and a twirl, the fault is flung your way. Suddenly, she's upset. Not because she forgot to pay a bill, but because you didn't remind her. It's projection at its finest, taking her mistake and hooking it onto you. You're left wondering how you went from bystander to culprit in the blink of an eye. This is a masterful move to protect her ego. She can't deal with failure, so she passes the hot potato of blame into your hands. The key to dodging this boomerang? Don't catch it. Stand firm in reality and don't play into the guilt game. Her mistakes are not for you to own. 6. Control charade. Your narcissistic wife might tell you that you're the controlling one, but take a closer look at who's directing the show. This role reversal is her subconscious coping strategy to mask her deep-seated fears of losing grip. Every time she calls you controlling, it's her own vice speaking volumes. It's another classic example of projection, accusing you of the very behaviour she embodies. Perhaps she micromanages the finances, or insists on planning every minute of your vacations, yet accuses you of being domineering when you voice your opinion. This tactic is about shifting the narrative, turning her insecurity into your supposed flaw. She's the puppeteer, trying to pull your strings, making it appear as though you're the one in control. 7. Emotional echo. Picture an emotional echo. You express a feeling, and it's parroted back, not with empathy, but as an accusation. You say you're feeling neglected, and suddenly she's the one claiming to be neglected. It's as if your emotions serve as a mirror for her insecurities, reflecting back an amplified version. This narcissistic projection is her subconscious way of voicing her fears, without facing them directly. Instead of acknowledging her behaviour, she echoes your sentiment, claiming it as her own experience. The manipulation here is subtle. She's not invalidating your emotions outright. Instead, she's co-opting them. It leaves you in a maze of confusion, doubting the legitimacy of your own feelings. But remember, these echoes are distortions, not truths. Stand your ground. Your emotions are valid, and her echoing them doesn't make them any less significant. 8. Friendship filter. This is a projection mechanism where your narcissistic wife casts her insecurities about social bonds onto you. She questions the solidity of your friendships, not because they're weak, but because hers are. It's a convoluted way to handle her jealousy or dissatisfaction. When she points out that friends don't really care about you, what she's likely voicing is her own doubt about her relationships. This tactic serves a dual purpose. It isolates you, making you more dependent on her, and it deflects her anxieties away from herself. Recognize the filter for what it is, a manifestation of her own social insecurities. Don't let her narrative cloud your perception of your friendships. Just because she perceives her relationships through a lens of skepticism doesn't mean yours need to be subject to the same doubt. Hold on to your relationships and filter out the negativity she projects. 9. Perfection projection. In her world, she's the epitome of all things ideal, and any imperfection she senses within herself is deftly transposed onto her partner. It's a defense mechanism to externalize her insecurities, preserving her self-image as unblemished. To steer through these treacherous waters, hold up the mirror of reality gently but firmly, affirming that nobody, including her, needs to reach perfection. It's about fostering an environment where growth and flaws coexist in harmony, without the shadow of unfounded criticism. 10. The guilt gift. It's a common ploy in the narcissist playbook, bestowing upon you an unsolicited present or favour, but beware of the strings attached. Your narcissistic wife may use this tactic after a conflict or when seeking forgiveness, not as a genuine act of kindness, but as a lever to elicit gratitude, loyalty, or to tip the scales in her favour. This gift is a Trojan horse, carrying a battalion of expectations. It's not about making amends, it's a calculated move to keep you indebted and reinforce the imbalance in the relationship. When she reminds you of her generosity, the gift becomes a shackle. Break free by acknowledging the gesture, but not allowing it to dictate your feelings or actions. The true kindness never asks for repayment. It's given freely and without an agenda. 11. The vulnerability veil. Next up, the vulnerability veil, in which she momentarily adorns herself with the guise of openness and fragility. This act of feigned vulnerability is a tactical diversion, one that's intended to elicit sympathy and disarm any suspicion of her usual domineering persona. You might find her sharing a seemingly intimate fear or insecurity, perhaps a story from her past, designed to resonate with your protective instincts. However, this is no genuine moment of weakness. It's a calculated move to shift the focus from her harmful behaviours and reassert control over the narrative. This strategic vulnerability is designed to steer the conversation away from critique and back into a comfort zone, where she's the object of concern, not the subject of accountability. In these moments, it's essential to offer compassion while maintaining perspective, recognizing the difference between true sharing and manipulative self-exposure. In this video, we've explored how a narcissistic wife might project her insecurities. To delve deeper, watch The Destructive Path of the Vindictive Narcissist. or how to break free from the narcissistic supply chain could be the empowering step you need. Thanks for joining us. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Now, choose your next video and continue your learning journey.